Hi Ken! Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Allie Elizabeth. I'm a professional hair and makeup artist here in Los Angeles, California, and today I'm taking you through my steps to recreate this Barbie inspired look. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I cannot recommend it enough. It was so fantastic. So let's get started. So I've already prepped my skin today, so I'm just gonna jump right in and start with some foundation and concealer. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I'm a big fan of mixing tones with my concealer. So I'm starting with my LYS Triple Fix Concealer and my Kosas Revealer Concealer. Just gonna put a little of each of those onto my hand. And as always, I'm gonna mix that color in a bit and start under my eyes, that inner corner. Popping some brightness, covering any little spots. You can see I had a little red spot pop up there, a little bit on the lighter side on the outer corner, and anywhere else where I feel like I have a bit more redness. And today I'm going to let that concealer sit for just a second, and then I'm going to add my foundation. I'm not going to buff the concealer in until my foundation goes on so that I get it all nice and blended. This, I have to say, a second brief pause about this brush. This Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush. See how it's tapered here? This is one of my favorite brushes for foundation right now. I can't say enough good things. Hopefully it wasn't limited. I'll have to check that. So I'm just gonna, it's like kind of a lot, but we're gonna go ahead and buff that in. So you'll notice today I just jumped right in with my foundation concealer. That's because I had already prepped my skin prior to shooting this. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I am a stickler for skincare, so you definitely never want to just come in on dry, unprepped skin. And even today, I think I could have done a little bit more moisturizer for this foundation because it is a tiny bit drier. And then I'm gonna take this down my neck again, where I've had this little eczema flare up from before, and just buff this all in nicely together. Also, I had the concealer and foundation all in my hand, so at this point it's basically all the two concealer shades and my foundation shade mixed in to get me to this nice neutral place that we are at here. Feeling pretty good about that. Definitely gonna warm it up because I'm a bit warmer down here with the summertime sun. So today I'm gonna do my bronzer slash contour. I'm not a big contour girl, if I'm being honest. I use it occasionally for red carpets, for photo shoots, for specific things where I'm really playing with the light for a photograph. For the camera, for HD cameras, video, TV film, which is where I spend most of my time. I will contour here and there, don't get me wrong, but you have to have a much lighter hand. It's gotta be a bit softer. So I am gonna come in with my bronzer today, LYS bronzer stick in Motivate. I'm gonna use another Morphe brush and just take a little of that and just start again, the outside, my hairline, just warming everything up a bit. Like circles. I never wanna forget adding the bronzer along the hairline because you can see automatically what that does for just kind of warming up my all over complexion. Gonna come along my jaw a little too, just to try to blend here with my neck since I kind of peeled that out to try to hide my eczema spot. And just the same thing here on the other side. Being careful again, as I mentioned in previous videos, being careful with that hairline. I'm not trying to dye my blonde orange with this bronzer. This formula really is so nice and creamy. I have seen this kind of everywhere on the internet, and they actually, I picked these up from an event with LYS back a few months ago, but I hadn't really had time to play with it all that much, and I have to say, quite nice. I'm gonna buff that all in, nice and soft. How do we feel? I think that's pretty good. And then today I'm gonna be using a cream blush from Anastasia, however you say it, the Pink Dahlia. This color for Barbie. We're gonna go all pink with everything for Barbie. And these are nice because they come with a little brush on the other side. So if you need that in a pinch, or if you're traveling, you can definitely get by with using this brush. However, today, we're not gonna do that. I'm actually going to use that same brush that I just used for my bronzer. Just take a little bit of that pink color, and I'm gonna come a little high on my cheekbones I've been doing this technique a lot lately where I'm taking my blush placement a lot higher up on the cheek than down here on the apples where you would normally focus. And I feel like that does a lot to really lift the face. Especially as you get older, everything starts coming down. And I feel like this blush placement just gives a really youthful accentuation of the face. You can see kind of the high point of my cheek. I can feel that bone. And just working that in up sort of into the temple. We're gonna add a little highlight in with that as well. And then because this is Barbie and I'm so into this whole vibe, I'm actually gonna add a little powder blush on top, and I'm gonna do so with MAC's tried and true Mineralize Skin Finish in Dainty. This is one of my, I've probably had this blush, God, probably at least 10 years or more. It's one of my favorites, and I'm just going to set that cream blush with a little bit of this Dainty. Feeling Barbie-ish already. I don't know if you guys can see what that placement does. I'm going a little extreme for the purposes of this video too, so you can see. So you obviously don't have to do quite as much blush or take it quite as high. And again, as always, if you get carried away and you feel like you've gone too far, you can always come in with that foundation brush from before and we can correct and tone down if we've gotten a little blush happy. I'm gonna go ahead and set underneath my eyes. I'm using Anastasia Loose Setting Power in Vanilla. These are actually quite nice. And I'm just gonna, with my Real Technique, tried and true OG blush, press that in under the eye, both sides here. I'm actually gonna run a bit of that over the lid before we get started on this eye look as well. And in the T-zone, chin. So now that we've got that all set, I'm gonna add a little bit of a highlight, and I'm gonna do so with a cream highlight today. This is also from Anastasia in the color Pink Diamond. And again, same as the cream blushes, they have this little brush on the end. I don't know, I mean, I guess that would be okay for your cheeks. I don't know how crazy I am about that, but it's nice to have the option. So I did just take a little bit of this on my finger. I really am a fan of doing cream highlights with my finger when I can. That one was a bit more sparkle than I expected, but it's quite nice. Bring that down the cheek. It's gonna pop our little doll-like highlight. I always like to throw a bit on above my Cupid's bow, so when I add the lips, you'll see. I am not gonna highlight the nose with this because this is so shiny, and I know people love to highlight this bridge of their nose right now, but I'm not gonna do that today. What I am going to do is I'm actually gonna contour my nose a little. I don't always do this, but for the purposes of this is a more extreme video than some of my other looks. I feel like I tend to be a bit more on the natural side of things normally, but this is Barbie, so who needs natural makeup when you are trying to remind yourself of Barbie? I'm going out of order a little bit because I already powdered, but I decided that I wanted to amp that up a little bit. So bear with me. We'll correct this all in just a sec. Just bring that down the sides of my nose. Bring that down a little bit. And then bringing it up through the bridge of my eye as well. And then with the opposite side, double-ended brush, I'm gonna take a little bit of that lighter shade of concealer and just pop that down my nose a bit and up here under my eye. And I'm gonna buff this in with a damp beauty blender, which you've seen us all use before. And just buff that in just ever so slightly. I just wanna blend so you don't get any hard lines if you're doing the contouring here. And I'm gonna hit under my eyes with a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish Powder. I can't say enough great things about these, especially if you're carrying it with you throughout the day. Feeling pretty good so far. So we're gonna move on to the eyes, and I'm gonna start with the brows. I was just recently turned on to these e.l.f. brow pencils and their fiber brow gel from Nikki LaRose. I don't know if any of you follow her tutorials on here. She is a celebrity makeup artist here in Hollywood as well, and she's pretty incredible. If I could make a tutorial half as entertaining as hers, then I would be a happy, happy lady. But she talks a lot about the e.l.f. brow line, so I picked up a few the other day, and this one is a more pro precision tip. This is a little bit wider tip, not crazy. I do feel like I like the blonde color of this pencil a bit better than this one, but I feel like the staying power with the twist up and the fineness of the tip is a bit better. However, this one, the lightest shade I could find was taupe, whereas this pencil actually went down into a blonde. And then I also picked up this Wow Brow from e.l.f. also in taupe, if you can see. And these are really great because they have little fibers. I don't know if you can see that. If the camera will pick it up. There's actually little tiny fibers. So this really helps make the brows really nice and full. So I, for today's purposes, I'm gonna use a little bit of the fibers first. I don't necessarily need this, but I want to show you guys this step because if your brows are on the thinner side, this could really be a game changer. For me personally, I actually have a decent amount of hair in my brows, which I don't really know how because I lived through the high school in the late 90s, early 2000s, and these bad boys were thin. Thanks, Pamela Anderson. So if you can see, I'm coming back through backwards just to really get the product in, and then I go back over one more time to put them in the direction that I want them to go in. So you can see already what that alone did, but for me, I have a problem eyebrow, and everyone has one. I don't care what they say. If you've ever been into a makeup store in your life, you've heard someone say they're not twins, they're sisters, right? Which is so true about your eyebrows, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. So on this side, I'm a little sparse here, but my shape is pretty well held together. Like this eyebrow, she cooperates. I really just have to sculpt in a bit here. Sometimes I'll extend out the tail a little. But now this side, we've got gaps here that never wanted to grow back fully. I've got a gap here, and so smoothing out that line is just, so my left eyebrow is always gonna be my problem brow, just going forward, so we're all aware. And let that dry for a second. And now I'm gonna come in with my Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, which is the darker shade. This is the taupe color. And just really gently at the bottom, gonna help define this out a bit. Now I wouldn't always, a lot of the times I would do pencil before gel, and especially if you're doing a more of a laminated brow with, say for instance, the Anastasia Brow Freeze, or I believe e.l.f. makes a version of the Brow Freeze. There's several brands I'm sure that do now. You would want to do any of the pencil color first in that instance and then come through and set. But because I was using the fiber-rich brow gel that actually deposited color, I like to start with that because it's actually going to do a lot of the work for you, and then you won't need as much from the pencil. So if you are doing a tinted brow gel, I do think it's okay to start with that first and then come in and just correct a little after the fact. But just know it's gonna be a little harder once your brows are set, kind of fighting against that product. So there are arguments for both ways, and this is just the order that I chose to operate in today. To fill in nicely. And I'm also doing a much more defined brow for this Barbie look today. All right, feel pretty good about that. Fighting back for a minute. So now let's start with the eyes. Today, I'm going to use Gaga's Haus Labs Liquid Shimmer in Glam Attack. Now, this has been discontinued, so I apologize in advance, but I really love this shade, and I really loved these formulas. I think they've since reformulated and turned them into more of like a squeeze tube applicator, more similar to the Danessa Myricks Color Fix, but I really love this color, so I'm gonna try it today. Don't hate me. So I'm, as always, gonna get a little bit of this. It's like a really pretty pink, pearlized shade, you can see. So it just feels perfect for this Barbie look. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Barbie movie yet, but it was so fantastic. I just loved it so much. But the makeup was actually really, it was so beautiful, and it was so clean, and it was so natural, and this is more makeup than I think a single character in the movie had on, just to preface. It was really beautifully done with a very light hand. Clean this up with my rougher blending brushes, and I'm just going to really lightly buff that shade in as a base. And you'll see what we're gonna do. But anyways, I bring the Barbie movie up because this is a Barbie inspired look, and definitely not a recreation from the movie, because I think Margot Robbie was so beautiful and so natural, and I really think that that spoke volumes about just what the movie was trying to say in general, and I loved personally that they kept her more on the natural side because she's so beautiful. She just really does not need much, and makeup is a form of expression. It's supposed to be fun, so I hope that when you're watching these videos with me and with anyone else on YouTube, it's just fun. This is for fun. So if it makes you happy, if you love it, you should do it. There's really no rules, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's just whatever makes you feel good. That's the whole point. Makeup should make you feel good. So with that being said, my little side tangent, today for my Barbie look, I'm gonna use the Smoke and Roses palette from Colourpop. Look at this, you guys. Look at this palette. I'm a big fan of Colourpop's shadows because they have such a wide range. They're so affordable and they're so pigmented. And I was in Ulta a few days ago and was thinking about doing and wanting to do this tutorial. And so I saw this palette and I had to have it. So I'm gonna use it to incorporate into my Barbie themed look today. So with a slightly larger brush, the Refer 27, I'm gonna start in the crease. We're gonna start pink. I'm gonna start with this Angel Eyes color right here. Just a little bit of that, and always want to tap off your excess. And I'm just gonna start working that in on my outer corners. A good rule of thumb, I'd say, when you're working on the crease too, this is a really great tip for hooded eyes, which I get asked about a lot, but really for everyone, is if you can get accustomed to, I think it's habit for a lot of people to close the eye and this is the way you want to blend. The more comfortable you can get with keeping your eyes open and looking straight ahead while you're blending, the better off you'll be, because this allows me to really see exactly what you are going to see when you're looking at me. And the danger of closing your eyes and doing all this work and blending and all of that down here, and then you open your eyes and you either can't see the work you've done or you've taken it way too far up and it looks kind of clown-like. And so it's easier going forward, trust me, to get comfortable with keeping your eyes open. So then I'm gonna take this Alone shade, which is a little softer, tap that off, and just soften that blend a little. This is a lot of pink, you guys. I'm not normally as much of a pink person, but Barbie really just sent me over the edge. I've got my pink nails. I'm really feeling this Barbie trend right now. I feel pretty good about that. Let's keep this super girly and fun. So we're gonna take this Faithfully color, which is pretty shimmery, so make sure we chop that excess off, and then just gonna come right in over. Oh, that's really pretty. And so see on top of where the Gaga House Labs was, we're gonna get a lot of pop. So you can do that with any kind of cream or liquid shadow, especially something with a bit of a shimmer. I know Stila makes some great liquid longwear shadows. Danessa Myricks makes a ton. Gaga, like I said, I'm pretty sure she's repackaged hers just into a different formula, but the same type thing. This is so, I feel like a baby doll, which is kind of the point. I guess I'm trying to be like a doll. So this video is a lot of fun for me today because I'm doing a lot of things that I don't normally do, or at least do to myself. This feels more like something I'd do for a photo shoot or a client than something I would regularly wear. So in the interest of that, and in keeping with the doll-eyed trend and Barbie, I'm gonna take the Slick Waterline Eye Pencil from Melt in the color Ivory, and I'm just gonna go right inside my waterline here. And I don't normally do this, but I think for this look, this is gonna be really fun to just open my eyes up a little bit extra. I actually probably could even go half a shade lighter than this, but this is the lightest pencil that I have on me, so it's gonna work. And then with a little bit of that same pink shade that's in my crease, just gonna bring that down underneath, just on the outside here. So we're widening my eye, giving the illusion that my eye is a bit bigger than it really is. This is fun. I feel like back in my MAC days, I used to work for MAC. It feels like 100 years ago, but not quite that long. And we would always have theme days and theme parties, and I always got to do fun makeup looks like this. And since I've been a working makeup artist in LA, I don't really ever have time to even really much to do my own makeup. So this is actually really, really fun for me to try something a little more fun and different on myself, because I feel like every day I leave the house, I pretty much look the same. And if you guys ever check out any of my shorts, I try to include some behind the scenes there from jobs and things, and you can always see I always look really scrubby, and if I have makeup on, it's a good day. If my hair's done, it's a great day. So then we're gonna add a winged liner to this because I feel like Barbie deserves a winged liner. And I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink Liner, this one. which is waterproof, you guys, or at least it says it's waterproof. So I'm really excited by this. I really love the pens, the gel liner pens for doing precise eyeliner, but I always have a tough time because my eyes are pretty dry, so I can tear throughout the day. So anytime I do these, they tend to wear off. So I'm really excited to report back on the wearability of these. And I'm gonna do another video coming up soon on eyeliner techniques, tips, tricks, ways to fix and correct. So you'll see this guy again. So again, same thing as we talked about before for hooded eyes. If you can get comfortable keeping your eye open while you're doing the eyeliner, it will make your life a million times easier to get your placement for your wing liner. About that, even just a little bit lower than I wanted, but it's okay. And now that I've got that wing started and I've got my placement where I want it, now I can close my eye and come in here and start to even things out a bit. And I have pretty small lid space as well, so I'm not gonna take this eyeliner all the way across my eye. I'm only gonna bring it about to midpoint here because I want the focus and everything to pull up from the outer corner here. And we'll do the same thing on this side. I can't talk when I'm doing my left side. I don't know if any of you guys, it's hard to do these things where I really have to focus and talk, so. Same thing, just gonna bring that to the center. I don't know how even that is, to be honest. I feel kind of like the eyebrow sister not twins. My eyeliner tends to be that way on myself for some reason. On other people, I'm much better at getting it precise. I feel like when I'm doing my own, I tend to have one that swoops and one that's more straight. So I don't know, you can be the judge of how correct I got that. But you can see when I close my eyes, especially on this side, there's actually a little bit of a dip, which is okay because no one is studying my eyes when my eyes are closed. You're looking at me with my eyes open. And what this does is it allows it to cut through that hood so that your placement is correct. And if I had closed my eye, I would have probably brought it lower. I would have brought it all the way across. And then when I opened, that would fill in that space and actually make my eye feel a bit smaller. So let's do a little curl, a little lash curl. True story, I forget to curl my lashes all the time. Are there any other professional makeup artists that just totally skip this step? Sometimes I just forget. I don't know what it is. It's not on purpose, but I just forget. So I'm using Benefit's They're Real Mascara again today. I've talked about this formula before. This used to be one of my all-time favorite mascaras for myself. I feel like the formula has changed a bit. I still really like it, and it definitely adds some drama and some dimension to your lashes, but I also feel like it transfers more today than it ever did in the past. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. Making my mascara face to get really close to that lash line to make sure I'm not leaving any color on my lashes from when I added the lighter color pencil. Second coat. I have really thick lashes naturally, so one thing that I love having in my arsenal is a lash comb. It's always good to have your mascara wands, but a comb can really help if you get any like major clumps. So something like this from Bedellium Tools, it's dirty because I just used it, but this is great if your lashes get a bit too clumped together, especially bottom lashes. If your bottom lashes are long, sometimes mine will clump up, and this lets me go in and really clean that out. Your eye. You'll hear me talk about this a lot in my videos, guys, but I cannot do makeup on my own face without making equally weird faces. And I know there are many makeup artists on the internet who do their own face every day and look completely normal, but I am just not one of them. I can't do it. I have to make faces to do my own face. So if you are in my camp, I'd love to hear about it, that I'm not alone. So another thing that I wouldn't necessarily do on the everyday but feels like a must, mandatory for this Barbie look, is lashes. So I'm actually going to use a pair from the Très Loose line. This is Becky G's company, and I was lucky enough to work with her on a film almost 2 years ago now, on the film Good Morning with Machine Gun Kelly and Duff Cameron. And I was able to work with Becky, and she introduced me to her line, and she gave me a few of these lashes. So I'm going to try them out today. These are on the more natural side. I have a smaller eye, so I don't do strip lashes all the time because it can be a bit too much on my eye. So I'm gonna see how these fit. I'm gonna have to cut some of these for sure for my eye. Cut off that end. So I'm taking a little bit of Duo lash glue so you guys can see. This is how I put my glue on the lash, is I just take a little bit of Duo on the end of a really small brush and I kind of paint and coat that lash glue onto the lash like that. Then we're gonna give this a second to dry down, because if I was to just try to put this on my lash now, it's way too wet. It would slide everywhere, it would be a mess. It's just easier to let it dry down a bit before we try to get this on. And this will be really interesting because I have pretty small eyes. So typically what I would recommend for someone with smaller eyes like myself is to only do flares on the outside. So I'm gonna try this whole lash strip in the interest of this Barbie look, but there's a chance that it might be a little too overpowering, even with this being one of her more natural lashes. We're gonna see. Put some of that glue to get a bit more clear. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to show this to you. It's the first time I've put lashes on camera, so bear with me. So you can see with and without. Definitely a bit more doll-like with. But I also think, and this is personal preference for each individual person, you can still see a lot of the color and things we've played with on this eye, whereas on this eye, we're gonna lose that, but you really get the doll effect with these lashes. So let me go ahead and do the other side. You also wanna work the band when you're working with banded lashes like these. I'm gonna make sure it's malleable before you try to stick it on your eye. A lot of times the band is super tight. So if you can soften that up, it's gonna make your life a lot easier when applying. The only tricks I can give really for application of lashes, some people use tweezers. To me, it's easier with my hands. I really need to get in and press that lash and fuse it with my natural lash. But some people use tweezers, some people use a little lash clamp tool, which I have somewhere to apply. But for today, we're just gonna use our fingers. So the easiest way I can explain, or the biggest tip I can give you when doing your own lashes, is that you again want to look down. If you can try to keep from having your eyes closed. If you have a mirror, I'm using a makeup mirror off camera today that's standing, so I can go like this and see into. Or if you have a handheld mirror, you want to put it flat on the table and look down like this, because that allows you to keep your eye open enough to see where your placement is, but also get the lash in the right place. You never want to close your eyes and apply lashes because you will glue your eyes together. Not permanently, but it's a pain to fix. So then, just gonna place that. Press these together. Okay, so let's do the lip. Obviously, we're gonna do a fun pink Barbie inspired look. I'm using a NYX liner in the color Sweet Pink. I'm just kind of a bit more on the bright side than my nails and what I'm wearing. Gonna mostly fill in with this liner. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing with my pinky too. I'm giving myself some stability for the lip liner with my pinky. This is something I learned back in makeup school. It just gives you a way to rest your hand without having your hand pressed on the face, messing up the makeup, and helps you stay stable. Helps you stay stable when you're doing line work. So then, this used to be one of the most popular colors at MAC. I don't think it is anymore, but it just felt right for Barbie. It had to either be Candy Yum Yum or Saint Germain. And so we're going Saint Germain, but because this color would be crazy with my skin tone on its own, we're gonna mix it with this liner here. Press that in and then come back in. This is more of a nice ombre lip. If any of you watch my red lip tutorial, you know I talk a lot about coming around that edge with concealer and blending, so I'm just gonna do that with this because this pink is so severe. And now I actually feel like a doll, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this Anastasia lip gloss in soft pink and just soften this just the tiniest bit. Quick setting spray. Let that dry down. There you have it. My Barbie inspired look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear more about things you'd like to learn, questions you may have, and I'd love to see some of your Barbie inspired looks. So feel free to tag yourself down below so I can check them out. And I think, again, the most important thing with this look is that it's meant to have fun. Again, this is inspired by Barbie. This is not meant to recreate Margot Robbie or any of the looks from the film, which were so beautiful and so natural. This is much more photo shoot Barbie. Let you guys see what we've done here. So you can see how that lash changes even what we had done with the liner, because before, remember, I was only taking my eyeliner to about the center of my eye, but these lashes have such a thick lash band that it gives the illusion that I've brought the eyeliner all the way in, and you can see how that actually somewhat closes my eye. And actually, I may want to connect that now. And that's my finished Barbie inspired look. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And let me know if you saw the movie, if you loved it, if you hated it. I'd love to hear all about it. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel down below. Bye for now.